Greetings, Raiders! Rocheletor here, and I am going to finally, after about a year of having referral accounts that I owned, you can do this much faster, but what I did is when you go into, so I'll go in my referral program, and as you can see, I have 3 accounts that are now at level 50 and 3 at level 40. So what you have to do to get these free champs right away, it's easy. You can refer, you can make up your own accounts under different emails, as long as you have like different emails to use, and you can basically start rating on each of these, and you have to get these levels as quickly as possible, level up, and each time you get to level this is like main XP, you can get to level 10, so it took me a bit longer because I didn't just campaign farm with the first 3 accounts. At first, I kind of did, and I think I watched the video on it. I probably didn't realize how much higher you accumulate game XP in campaign more than anywhere else in the game. So it was hard to tell because from the videos, it didn't really explain, like, you didn't have to at all upgrade champions XP, although if you do, it's helpful in getting through the campaign. So you do want to level up people at first, but you just don't have to keep leveling up people just for the sake of leveling them up if they're not even going to help you in the campaign. So the good thing about that is, I'll show you a second, is that for the 50s, it's you're probably good once you get to level 40. Game XP, you want your campaign for your starter champion at like level 50. Use 800 diamonds to max out their masteries, and then once you do that, just basically find the best 3 champions that work with that champion to get through campaign 12-6 brutal. It's said that you could probably do it on 12-6 hard, but it's easy enough to just plow through to 12-6 brutal for the most part. I think Hallowed Halls can give you trouble, but I knew enough to kind of tweak the champs and get through it quick enough so that I could get to 12-6 and just win the majority of the 12-6 brutals. I think I put it on, like, I kind of tested it out, and it's like if they won like 5 out of the 6 times, and then you just kind of on auto battle, the multi battle is another thing. You want to get it any way you can try to find multi Autobot battles. You want to pick those up, and there's a lot of promotions at the beginning of the game, and then there's, like, if you luck out, there's just things that occur, promo codes, whatnot. Wherever there's like multi battles is where you want to. Pretty important. XP, don't need it. I think if you want to get to the 50, it could be helpful to get your starter champion to level 60, and maybe one other champion to level 60, so that you can just more quickly go through 12-6 brutal, because once you get to 40, it takes longer to accumulate each level, and if you get through those campaigns faster, you can more quickly get through that instead of just waiting, especially eventually going to be manually doing it at some point. It's just not enough auto battles and multi battles for that. So yeah, I got Pop Kilderon, Skeleporia, Oriantor, Black Coron, Moblintor, and Salgo the Wizard. What kind of names are these? Anyway, let's go into first all these accounts. I wanted to give a shout out to the campaign farm teams I had. Well, I'll start with this. Okay, so this looks like, yeah, okay, here we go. So this is my first account, my first referral account I created, and probably went through different versions of this team, but this team was able to sort of get through 12-6 Brutal in like 36 seconds. Demitha is excellent, just keeping the heals up and keeping everyone alive so that they can just get their nukes in. Deacon Armstrong's in the front, just increases everybody's speed kill, just on full masteries, full and campaign farm. The Hell Hades recommended campaign farmer, and then Sun Wukong just keeps reviving. You have to get his up. See, I've got only up to 3 stars. That activates his revive after 3. Every champ takes a 3rd turn, and then the myth is like a super tank. So basically, that was my team there, my first account. This is Skeleporia. So Pop Kildren, this is Skeleporia. We have Kai Katoon in the front for the speed. I guess another thing to note is that I think, was it this? Yeah, this. Right, that's it. This team here had a legendary that I got from a shot. I didn't even end up using them. I think pretty much because of Demitha. And the first champion I got out of this account, the starter champion, with my starter champion, my promotional code extra champion that you can get, and you're out of luck if you don't put the promo code in within a certain amount of time when you first start an account. But there's a bunch of them. New champ promo codes on several websites. Probably Hell Hades is the best one to use for that. I think he has them all. New player code. There are also a couple of them like Codex, I think. But if you just type promo code in Google for Raid Shadow Legends, you'll get new player codes. I'd say there's videos on the best ones to get. Deacon Armstrong is good long run, and he ended up helping me here at the campaign farm, but you do have to get him, ascend him to get like all his abilities. He is said by most to be the best one. Might be true because it's hard to tell over like a short period of time, but
don't go there,
yeah, he's definitely good. As you can see, he's on this team. So he's helping them out. I don't think in any of the other ones, like this one, I got Mordecai as my promotion, just to have a different person in there. Ended up not being the best in the long run for campaign. He's better for Spider. He's better for dungeons anyway. But I think when I first looked, I didn't know. I just heard people say Mordecai is awesome, but not the greatest for campaign. So High Katoon ended up being the leader, and then these are just the free champs that got along the way. Had this count for a while, so I ended up getting Artex on Wukong. I think that I also have Rathalos. I think they even have Rhonda. I think that these started when Rhonda was available. So Elhain is full maxed out on masteries, campaign farmer masteries, fully ascended, fully leveled up to 60. Probably has lifesteal. Most of them probably have lifesteal on. Artek and Sun Wukong, just blast through that. Then we have this account I'll show you later what the legendaries I got with this account, but this I had the best luck in it. 2 of them are in this nuke. This is it was my best account of all my referral accounts. This could actually potentially become my main account if I wanted to. I could just have 2 really good accounts. This one has a lot of good champs. But yeah, half rack I got first, and Tidor the Savant, like 2 of the best champions in the game. Tidor the Savant is good for like clan boss, is good anywhere. Lays down a ton of poisons and just really helps out a lot. Sun Wukong is awesome with most. I think he's in every one of these teams just because he can self-revive, and if you have anybody that's tanky, he's just going to keep reviving and throwing nukes down. Gallic was a pain. He's supposedly the worst of the starter champs, but if you get him maxed up on the campaign farm, recommended Hell Hades campaign farm masteries, upgrade his gear and everything, he is pretty effective. But he's not effective until you completely max him out, because he was getting killed all the time before that happened. You're better off with, if you want a campaign farmer, get Saurus, he actually is easier to build than Gallic. But yeah, so let's keep going here. I will be here all day. And we have, these are my level 40s. I only had to get this account up to level 40. So now I only need a level 50 campaign farmer. And Rathalos, these accounts could only get Rathalos. I only had these for a month, so basically could only get Rathalos as a free champ. Then we got Cornelia. She throws down a lot of sleep and heals, and I don't even remember this guy, but he is very effective and just decrease. That third champ in this team was struggling. I couldn't get like somebody as a very great. I mean, he probably was my like best of the worst kind of options there. They're probably a good. Oh yeah, the guy that I started with here, my free champ was the frog guy, but he wasn't. I don't know. I got him. I wasn't getting enough defense on him, and didn't want to farm for artifacts. So this guy was doing a little bit better. This Shadow King guy, forgetting his name. So then on to my 5th account for level 40. Again, I got Deacon Armstrong as a speed lead. I got Apothecary early, and he's always good for added speed and help supporting this type of campaign farming. Elhain maxed out masteries and level 50. Rathalos is low speed but throws the nukes on, and pretty effective. Then I hadn't had Athel at all, so I'm gonna want to see probably. This ended up being my best one. It's funny though. The third of my each referral seemed to have the best luck with like champion pulls, but I got Doom Priest. She's really good for this. She does a continuous heal, I think, and a lot of protective buffs on everybody. Believe she has a revive, or maybe she doesn't. I know, but Kitagashi has a revive. So those two together are freaking excellent. And then there was Rathalos again with a nuke. So this was a pretty easy cleanup. So anyway, I mean, you can do this with a lot, but it's just kind of fun to see that. Okay, now, so my first account I ever played, I got Ruel the Hunt Master off of Shard. It was the only one I've gotten. So just kind of wanted to see if you kind of try to sort of level up and pull shards and stuff and do stuff just besides campaign farming. You will end up with some nice champs that you might want to like test out, and you'll have accounts because it's hard to get legendaries, like every legendary on one account. So no, this is the only account that I have Ruel the Hunt Master. Gonna need other people with hexes though. As you see, he's a hex guy. So his A1 attacks one enemy, has 50% chance of placing a 60% decreased defense debuff for 2 turns. Transfers a random debuff from this champion to the target if the target is under a hex debuff. So he works well with other hex champs. Vildrax, who's only good with other hex champs, works well with this guy. Eventually you get Cleopteryx or Cleopteryx. It's Cleopteryx. She is a big hex champ. See, everything has to do with hex. All attacks is an AoE, attacks extra hit on enemies in the hex. Debuffs will ignore 25% of each target's defense if there are 4 more enemies in the Elbow hex. And then this is passive. I think this is passive. Places a 50% increased accuracy buff on all allies. Then places a hex debuff on all enemies for 2 turns. Oh, that might be another. Let's see. Oh, this is passive. This is his A3. Yep. This is A3. This is passive. So he's increasing accuracy. Also places a perfect veil. I got a lot of these champions with perfect veil. Decreased speed of enemies under hex debuff by 5% and decreases the resistance of those enemies by 10%. Also increases the damage on the enemies in the hex. So that's an extra bonus if you send them 3 stars. Which actually right before I took the screenshot, right after I took the screenshot, I sent it up to 3 stars. Not any use for getting up to level 50, but there's supposedly more bonuses after level 50. But for that purpose, was getting it through 4 secret shards and then being able to open up the 3 accounts to get to level 40 to get Crohnam, which I can now put to level 50 to get 4 shards. But for now, I think I'm gonna take a break from all these referral accounts because it's just a bit much, as you can probably imagine. Roxam, I just got on this account recently just because I'm using all my shard impulses on pulling on my referral accounts and saving up my shards on my main account. Roxam, haven't found much use for him, but just pulled him for this account. Has 50. This is my second referral account that I opened up and didn't get. I've been pulling a lot of legendary sacred shards, pulled no legendaries. Finally got one. It actually wasn't off a sacred. This was off of a primal shard, so even worse. So 50% chance of filling this champion's turn meter by 10%. Also has a 50% chance of placing a perfect veil buff on this champion for 1 turn if the attack is critical. And he has an aura. Only in Doom Tower, so I guess you're supposed to suggest to use him in Doom Tower, but it increases everybody's crit. Oh, that might be crit damage. No, it's crit rate. I see it down there. It's crit rate by 23%. It's only in Doom Tower. A2 attacks one enemy, fills his champion turn meter by 50%, has a 75% chance of placing stun on the target. So just an attack 1.
has a 75% chance of placing Sleep, which is like one of the worst debuffs, or a Perfect Veil buff if they're, I guess, under Veil. Place a Perfect Veil on this champion for 2 turns after attacking without a Veil, or a Perfect Veil buff. So, while under a Veil or a Perfect Veil buff, attacks all enemies, has a 75% chance of placing a decreased defense debuff and a 25% chance of a weaken. So those are not dependent on Veil, at least. Oh, no, it does say while under Veil. So everything's about Veil. You have to be with Veil champions. I think this is why this guy is not the most favorite. Places a block debuffs and a 25%, I think this is passive, 25% strengthen on this champion, and a 15% continuous heal whenever they receive Veil. So everything, if you have he needs other Veil champions, obviously, with him. And I already mentioned this in Doom Tower. So anyway, this is probably the best ever, him or the next guy, my best ever legendary pulls on my referral accounts. Half rack. Attacks one enemy, places extra hit if the attack is critical. I think it's his A3, that's his, it's freaking awesome. Or is it this one? Attacks all enemy, places an extra hit on the targets with less than 50% HP after the first hit. Each hit will ignore 15% of the target's defense. The Megalomania level 3 places a 50% increased attack buff and a 30% increased crit rate buff on this champion for 3 turns and grants an extra turn, right? You put this on, and then it grants him an extra turn, so then he does this, and he clumps the heck out of everybody, pretty much. Yeah. So his A2 is his nuke, and it, like, right away I was like going up to like arena silver, no problem. Probably, if I was really trying to do arena, I probably could have gotten a gold, but I was more about, you know, like leveling up campaign. I was doing other stuff, but this is, I think I have him in my defense, and they have not even dropped down. Whenever an ally is killed by an enemy, instinctively activates half-rack Scorn skill and will not put the skill on cooldown. That's pretty good. Now, where is he? He's maxed up the fire, so he must have that. That's this right there. And this is I got 3 legendaries on this third account. Nogdaw the Headhunter. He's kind of a pain because he has to do this thing where like he has to get killed and then revive again. And his champions have to be at like certain levels. I forget how. I didn't use him that much, but he attacks one enemy, heals this champion by 10% of their max HP, grants an extra turn if this attack kills an enemy. Attacks all enemy after attacking this champion, sacrifices HP equal to 50% of their max HP, then places a 50% continuous heal on all allies for 2 turns. The HP sacrifice will happen even if it kills this champion. And this happens I just got another champion on my other account, the Smash Lord, Hawthorne Smash Lord, I think. But it's a little less, he's a little bit easier to keep alive than this guy, I think. Sacrifices HP equal to 50% of this champion's max HP, then equalizes HP levels with the target's enemy, then grants an extra turn. The HP level of both this champion and the target enemy will be brought down to the level of the one with the lowest HP. Does not work against bosses. This champion cannot be killed by this skill. And then his passive, which I never activated on, which is probably why I couldn't use him, because I think he needs this, is he revives this champion with 50% HP and full turn meter when dead if all allies are alive. So you have to have tanky champs with him. And he's pretty much like a, kind of like a very squishy Sun Wukong, I guess you could say. So if you have Sun Wukong, though, this guy's kind of not, I don't know, he's not as useful. Does not work if there are multiple Nogdaws on the team, and if there are 3 or fewer total champions on the team. They really try to, yeah. And then increases attack in all battles by 30%, 33%. Attack percentage is not the greatest. Then, this could be arguably the best one I pulled next to Half-Rack. Tira the Savant. Attacks all enemies, has a 30% chance of placing 30% decreased speed debuff for 2 turns. Its day 1 is A2, has a 75% chance of placing 5% poison debuffs and 25% poison sensitivity debuff on all enemies. Also places a 30% increased speed on everybody as well. So, kind of a jacked up Diabolis, because I think Diabolis does all this. She does sleep, I think she does poison, and she does the increased speed. Increases the duration of all poison debuffs and HP burn debuffs on all enemies by 1 turn. Then instantly activates any poison debuffs and HP debuffs on each enemy. Places 25% weaken debuff. So yeah, that's really good on Clan Boss. For 2 turns on enemies not under poison. Then he has a passive that I never activated, probably make him even better. This champion's resistance is increased for each poison debuff on an enemy team, which would sound probably decent for like arena, if you're using him in arena. And then he also increases accuracy on everybody for 50%, so he does a ton of things. So finally, we're going back to the actual game. So I've pretty much hyped up and wanted to kind of get through. Might have to speed up, or I don't know what I'll do with this, because this went a little bit longer than I wanted to. But basically, we're gonna talk about Chrohnam. We're trying to talk about Chrohnam. I think we can actually get him in here. So basically, we're gonna go to the fragment summon. And I got the other 2 fragments, so we're gonna get the full fragment. It's gonna fill up completely. Here we're gonna see. What does that say? No places to get fragments of this champion at the moment. Well, so I guess I can't do the info on him. Well, alright, so let's just summon him then. Here it comes! Welcome to Team Rocheletor, Crohnam. So let's check out your kit here. I kind of review this. Basically, I can already farm dungeons 25, all the dungeons are regular dungeons on 20 up to 25, and I can also get through Doom Tower normal, all the way up. But a lot of these bosses, a lot of the dungeon bosses, take forever to defeat in one round. Especially Fire Knight. I think this guy's going to be really good about decreasing the speed it takes to beat Fire Knight in one round. Also, faction was already basically cleared, got all the stars on the barbarians because they have Sky Drakes. You get Jamarsa, she's actually on that team. Haikatoon, and I think the other two are War Maiden, and then another champion you actually can get as a free champions on that team too.
Yarkal the Scourge, big freeze champ. Problem is they take like 15 minutes to get through the last dungeon, or the last faction crypt, I should say, the last faction crypt with the boss, because it's just all about healing and reviving and having a couple of nuke guys. I think Yarkal is the one who does the most damage in that team, and the rest of it might be revive chance. You get, yeah, Haikatoon has the War Maiden. She's another damager. So it's her, and Yarkal are the only damagers. This guy is gonna really help speed that up, and he's gonna really be effective in Doom Tower against the Nether Spider and the Frost Spider. Both that. We interrupt this regularly scheduled program to tell you that Chrohnam is no good at the Nether Spider because his A2 hits multiple times, which causes the little spiders to heal the big spider. So please don't use Chrohnam on Nether Spider. Now back to our regular scheduled program. HP burn really does a number on them. So yeah, he is going to help that HP burn. And it's all about his A2. He has a lot of stuff built in that will just make him constantly do his A2. And we'll just look straight at his A2. Attacks 3 enemies 3 times at random. Each, well, actually, it's his passive and everything else that makes his A2 keep hitting, I think. But what it actually does is, each hit has an 80% chance of instantly activating the HP burn. And it heals him by 10% of his match HP for each HP burn. So it's going to keep him alive. So basically, his passive, I think every 10 times active skills are used. And, he also has Jamarsa, which I have at level 60. I have her Master's maxed out. So at the time, she wasn't the best person to put to level 60. But now I'm getting my I guess money's worth. Yeah. Every 10 times active skills are used in battle by either enemy or allied champions. This champion instantly activates the Berserker's Delight skill. This happens every 5 times active skills are used if Jamarsa is on the same team. And if she's on the same team, it revives this champion by 50% HP. And so he's going to be like kept alive easily. And she's also a reviver, multiple reviver. So she'll be doing heals and whatnot as well. So yeah, this Berserker's Delight is his A2. So then his A1 and his A3, I think he has an AoE. So when it attacks everybody, his A3. And he has 80. Well, the 2 is sort of, this one's sort of like an AoE. Well, it's hit 3 times. He's going to hit different things. Because the thing about this with the boss, you can hit the boss 3 times with this. So, but there's multiple enemies, this and this together, which also places HP burn. It also fills his turn meter by 15%, so it's giving him buffs and doing HP burns. And okay, so then his A1 increases the duration of a debuff. So most likely he's going to be HP burn, and he's going to increase the duration of that. So I'm thinking of like putting him with like Drexta, Blood Twin, who is like has every one of his moves is HP burn, and then have Jamasha to enhance all his skills, and then have Rathalos who like nukes on one of his A3, I think, on everybody's on HP burn. So that might be like a crazy arena team. There's not really a control. I guess he's kind of a control champ. I guess he's all the HP burn he does. You have to have the speed, but in certain instances, if you're good arena, I'm sure that will work in faction. We'll see how he does. But yeah, so like I'm part of the 1% here. Got Crohnam, don't have his extra skin. I think to get his extra skin, I need to get. Oh yeah, so it's like you get 3 shards. I almost rather get the 4 shards, but I see a lot of content creators say they want the extra skin because they are scared by the way Crohnam looks like. But we'll be nice to Crohnam. He doesn't look that bad. He's just a real tough-looking guy here. Anyway, hail to the summoner Rocheletor. Like and subscribe if you like the video. On my way to possibly, well, that's a secret. We're gonna see what happens in the mythical shard pull. Primal shard, sorry. Well, primal shard to maybe get a mythical. I have no mythicals yet, so that'd be interesting. Anyway, hail summoner Rocheletor. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. See you in the next one. And no, we don't want a monthly pack with your meme.